Dali, we're on. Say hi. Say hi. Dali's had a big day. He's been filming. And now we're here for a lovely afternoon chat. And today we're meeting with one of my very, very dear friends from the band The East Pointers, which is a Canadian band. Well, essentially it's a very PEI band, which is Prince Edward Island, but I'm not going to go on about it because I will let you hear from Koady himself. Koady is a fabulous musician, just so talented, so amazing. I can't wait for you to meet him and have a listen to this accent. It's excellent. Okay, we'll try and add Koady into the chat and see if he's around. It's so nice that you've all joined us here this afternoon. It's a very quiet afternoon here in Wiggles Hot Potato Studios. Everyone's finished for the day and we've been filming some YouTube clips. Okay, let's see if Koady joins us. We can show Dali to him too. Here, waiting, connecting.
Here we go.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, Emma?
Good, how have you been?
Can't complain. I cannot complain. I'm very happy that this worked. This is my very first Instagram live.
This is very modern of us, Koady.
This is extremely modern. I feel like an old man whenever I get on here, and I'm still in awe that we can actually do this.
And I think I have to say that we have to go back and introduce you properly to everybody and let everybody know how our worlds have crossed paths and how we met you and how we met the band and all the rest of it. But essentially, I just have to firstly say is that I love the color of your shirt.
Oh, thank you. That was obviously. I mean, how could I wear any other color? Really?
It's true. I mean, I tried to have an East Pointers red vibe.
We flip-flopped.
We have flip-flopped. But for everybody at home and everybody who's watching, this is Koady Chaisson, or we like to say Koady Chaisson. Koady, you are from PEI, the Prince Edward Island, or as Anthony Wiggle likes to say, the Prince Edward Island, which is a tiny island off the coast of Canada. Tell us about that first.
Yes. Prince Edward Island is Canada's smallest province, but it is actually Canada's most densely populated province. Fun fact. But yeah, just a tiny little province that's right above Nova Scotia, which a lot of people, I feel like Prince Edward Island is kind of like Tasmania in that it gets left off a lot of maps. So a lot of world maps don't actually have Prince Edward Island on there, even though we are our very own province. So there's a bit of camaraderie between us and, the folks from Tasmania.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's 140,000 people. Most of them are my cousins.
This is so great. I only have, I think, 6 cousins. And when I hear about your family you have how many first cousins?
120.
It's not, I can't comprehend this, but this is amazing. Your family is a very musical family. And for everybody who has never seen Koady or never met Koady, Koady is an amazing musician, part of probably my most favorite band, the East Pointers, apart from the Wiggles, the East Pointers. A very Celtic inspired Scottish music, traditional Irish music, traditional tunes from that part of the world and from Nova Scotia particularly. And the band actually is consisting of your cousin.
Yes, of course.
Kim.
Yes.
And your good friend Jake. But Jake isn't from PEI.
He's not. Jake is from Barrie, Ontario, which is about an hour and a little bit north of Toronto.
Okay.
Yes. And the population of Jake's city that he grew up in is the entire population of PEI. Just to give you a bit of I don't know. I like facts. I always have a facts guy. So there you go. 140,000 ish.
That's quite amazing. And I think it would be remiss of us to let people know about how the connection between the East Pointers and the Wiggles first connected. But obviously, Anthony has a huge interest in Scottish music and loves your part of the world, and in particular, Newfoundland, or should I say Newfoundland? Is that better?
You sounded like a local there. Good one.
Newfoundland, understand?
There you go.
That's how I remember it. But uh, far, far, far east of Canada, and the most amazing traditional and historic tunes that come from your part of the world, Anthony has always been drawn to,
Mhm.
and in particular to Squid Jigging Ground, which is a very local song as part of Kitty Vitty, Newfoundland area St. John's. And
Mhm.
I think because we both had a connection with the ABC, that's how we first got in contact with you guys about featuring as part of our song, The Squid Drinking Ground. Well, it's not our song. It's definitely Canada's song.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And is that how both the bands connected in the first place?
Yeah, I think the original connection was, yeah, through the ABC and Tim, um, who before the East Pointers came together, Tim had a solo career, and yes, he was on the ABC, and yeah, that's how that connection happened. And then we were touring, the East Pointers were touring Australia, and just randomly hanging out in Sydney, and got a phone call. And then I feel like the rest is history. We went in. I remember being so nervous to go because obviously, um, the Wiggles are big deal. Okay, and I just remember being very nervous and feeling a bit uh, like imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Where you don't feel, you know, like you belong. But anyway, whenever we got there and we met all of you, oh, it was like an instant, just one of those instant friendships. It was, yeah, it was so lovely, so lovely.
Obviously the boys, the Wiggly boys, connected with you guys straight away because of your music connections and your love of that kind of music. But for me, I guess as soon as I heard your music, I was like, oh, this is my childhood. I remember this kind of music, and I think over the last 5 years, in particular for the East Pointers, your music has changed a bit, but I love it, as in it still has that Celtic fusion, but it has a hip hop vibe to it now. It's techno. It's as techno as we could possibly be as Celtic nerds. And
Yeah,
where has this inspiration for the move for the East Pointers? Where has this come from?
yeah. You know what? We, of course, growing up with a massive family, um, you know, our roots were always in Celtic music and step dancing and all that kind of stuff. But because we have such a big family, there was an eclectic taste of music and constantly, different genres. My older brothers listened to a lot of, heavy metal music, and I listened to hip hop. I listened to my sisters especially were really into pop music. Um, so I think it was always destined, really, to become something other than kind of your traditional Celtic sound. I think it's this most recent record, Yours to Break, is kind of it's the closest representation to, I think, who we are uh, at a moment in time. I think it yeah, it's contemporary, but it stays true to, where we came from. And I think it's funny whenever you talk to people and they say, oh, you switched it up from album to album. I think in order to put on a genuine show for us, you need to be playing music that, excites you and makes you feel good. And I feel like that is what we did on this record. So yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Yours to Break, definitely my favorite album. Truly, absolutely my favorite. And I have to interrupt the conversation because I have a guest that wants to say hi to you.
Okay.
Only your second biggest fan. I am the biggest East Pointers fangirl, but here is your second biggest fan, and it's not Darlie. It's not Darlie the dog, but it is Anto.
Hey, Koady.
G'day, mate. How you
How you
doing?
going, mate? You
Doing
know, I've
very
got
well.
this on because we went to Sydney in Canada,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I bought that there.
You know what? I heard a funny story once about a lady from where was she from? Brazil, I believe. And she thought she was flying from Rio to Sydney, Australia, and she ended up in Sydney, Cape Breton.
Oh,
Not much difference between the two. Koady, how you going, mate? I tell you what, I was watching.
I saw you jump on the screen there. It came up Anthony Wiggle.
Absolutely, I got in the car and came straight here. Do you know what? I was just thinking, they don't put this on tele. I love that you can have a conversation and people can see and learn about other people, and it's fantastic. But I just want to say before I go, thank you, Koady, for all the beautiful music, the banjo. Oh my goodness, everyone! If you haven't heard Koady play,
Yeah, hang on. Wait,
is he going to play?
Let's get Koady to play now.
Oh no, I'll go up and watch it. I'll watch it, but Koady, if I can just say one little criticism.
Yeah, no,
You know, more
right.
stress based, more traditional. Okay, you guys are great, but pull it back for the old guys.
Yeah.
No, I love it. They are these pointers. Tim and Jake and yourself, Koady, the nicest, most talented men I've ever met in my life, and I mean that.
And the genuine, not just the genuine talent, but the friendship and the beautiful personalities that these three boys have to be aspired towards.
Oh well, and also Koady, I don't know if you know Ollie, our wonderful guitar friend.
Of course.
Yeah, well, Ollie's sort of trying to be Tim Chaisson now. He's walking around, he's unbelievable. He's taking up the fiddle. I love it. Anyway, we love you. And what are you going to play on the banjo?
Yeah, come on, play a little bit of something now.
You know what, Anthony? Just because you said that about a Strass Bay, maybe I'll play you a Strass Bay.
Yay!
And you know what? Embarrassingly, I grew up playing Strass Bays, but we don't play many of them. So you'll have to forgive me if this is a bit rough.
It's going to be beautiful, mate.
I haven't played a Strass Bay in a while. All right.
That's Jake. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey.
Are you going to dance there, Emma?
Yeah.
Oh,
You stay there.
I can.
No, you stay there. I'll just dance
Yeah.
that.
Keep going, Codes. Oh, I will leave, Koady. You are a beautiful man, and also just as a technical, because I only just started playing banjo in the last year or two. Just listening how softly you play. Yeah, is that a something that most tenor banjo players do?
You know what? Like every other instrument, I think the techniques vary from player to player and region to region. I think because I grew up fiddle as my first instrument, so I have, and you kind of play fiddle with a soft touch. So I think I just transferred over my fiddle playing to my banjo playing. Yeah.
And before I go, I want to say one more thing. Jake Sharon, your wonderful piano player, guitar player, every
Yes.
time he set the level high. Every
Mhm.
time that Lockie and Ollie are talking musical, they have a T-shirt. What would Jake do? And they can never do it, but they tried. Thank you. Anyway, Koady, love you, man.
Love you too, Anthony. Thank you
God
so
bless
much
to
for
all the
dropping by.
family.
I saw Jake was watching before, and he's like,
Awesome.
"Stress vague, question mark, question mark. What is that? What is that? What is that old music?"
I
But
know.
truly beautiful, Koady. It's very special to have you play for us,
Oh,
and I think people don't realize how difficult it is to play banjo, and yet well. So thank
thank,
you.
thank you. And I don't think people realize how difficult it is to just jump up without warming up and dance like that.
Oh, my legs are tired. Let's be honest. But I guess the connection with the Wiggles and the East Pointers has been going for many, many years now, and it has formed into different paths, which is what has made the friendship with the Wiggles and the East Pointers such a beautiful friendship, and it has changed a lot very recently. And
Yes.
I was very fortunate to be able to be part of your music video for one of your latest singles, Wintergreen, which we were going to sign in Australian Sign Language in Auslan. And that was translated by a really dear friend of mine who is an amazing interpreter, Paula Bunn. And she made this beautiful translation, and then we filmed it for your lovely song. But in a way, Koady, don't you think that the way that music video happened is a bit like this? We never got to actually see each other, but you guys wrote this
Totally.
beautiful song, Wintergreen, sent it over to Australia, we made the video, and then sent it back to you.
Isn't it amazing technology? Isn't it just amazing that we can do that?
And
And I will just
normal,
say, I
yes,
will just say, to interrupt you, sorry,
please.
that you weren't in the video. I feel like you were the video. You honestly, I think whenever whenever we were going back and forth about the idea of doing the video, I think it blossomed into something that I'd never seen coming. I remember when we got the final edit back, my jaw just being like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is so amazing. So thank you again for being the most generous person on the planet and doing that for us, because we love it so, so much. And we love everything that you do to make music more accessible for people in the deaf community. We think that you are a real beacon in the world. So it's great.
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity, and for the opportunity for being open-minded to allowing sign language to be a part of your video. And I think that's really important. But for everybody watching, not for the sake of watching me, but please listen to the music, and please do yourself a favor, listen to Wintergreen. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song, written by the East Pointers, and your friend was writing that song with you.
Yeah, Colin McDonald was his name. Yeah.
Colin,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful song, very inspiring. And I guess the album Yours to Break is, I mean, for me, I'm one of those people that plays it every day. So I know the tracks very, very well.
Good, good,
uh,
good.
but after that lovely collaboration, we decided to get you guys to come in to the Wiggle Studio here, even though it looks a bit different now. And we filmed Click Go the Shears.
Go the Shears, yes.
And I know it's a very traditional Australian song, but had you ever heard the song before?
You know what? I don't think I ever heard that song before. No. But I loved it. And honestly, I will say that every single time that we're involved in a Wiggles um, scenario of whatever type, I think there are some of the funnest days I've ever had in my life. That I remember, I actually believe somebody during the filming told me to stop laughing so much or smiling so much, I think.
I think a highlight, something that will be released very soon, but we had the East Pointers join us for Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Big Red Car, and yourself and Tim and Jake are around the big red car. I feel like you're some of our very first guests to be a part of the big red car at this particular time. So for the release of the Wiggles' new album, which is called Choo Choo Trains, Propeller Planes, and Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Big Red Car, I feel like you're very much a part of this track, which you play on as well, Toot Toot Chugga Chugga.
It's
So
the I remember we took whenever we did your end of year shows,
yes,
and
yes.
we were playing in Melbourne, at Rod Laver. I remember we took a picture of the East Pointers in the big red car, and I just remember getting so many messages from people back home just with the mind blown emoticon. Just they couldn't figure out how on earth the connection between us happened. And yeah, one of them being my niece. My niece is such Emma Wiggle fan. The Wiggles in general, but she is, I would say, borderline obsessed.
What's her name?
Jovi.
Jovi.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I better say a big hello to Jovi and have a beautiful day. Hope to see you very soon. And next time I'll wear my bow and the same color shirt as Koady. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't know why I forget, but the East Pointers, yourselves, you joined us for our Australian tour here. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. And I think that was only really the start of us collaborating together and us realizing the most amazing musicians and that music combined with the Wiggles music and what that has sprung into. But if you need to see this environment where the East Pointers join the Wiggles, please watch Click Go the Shears on the Wiggles YouTube channel, because you will see Koady dancing. But more so, what about Jake playing the piano and our dear friend Callum, who's holding the piano up so that Jake can play it? Please have a look.
Multitasking 101. Multitasking. Yes, a lot of multitasking. It was beautiful. Yeah.
I think yourself and Jake did well to play the instruments and do some spring points at the same time. It didn't show the plethora of your step dancing talent, which still hasn't been quite exhibited to me, even though I know that you used to step dance.
Yes.
So why, how, where, and why don't you still do it?
Well, I do it a little bit during the shows.
Yes.
Just a
if I'm there to encourage you, you do it more.
Yes, of course. And I think we've had a few. I wouldn't call them dance-offs because those tend to be competitive, and you're a much better dancer than I am. But we have done something to that. I don't know. We've done a few dance. Well, I'm just going to say it. We've done a few dance-offs, and
yes.
Yeah, I think back home, like I was saying, step dancing is such a huge part of the culture. And my mother was a great step dancer, and so before I ever touched an instrument or squeaked out my first note on a fiddle, my mother taught me how to step dance.
Wow, so you're a dancer first.
Dancer first. You would never know it.
Oh, this changes everything.
I was a dancer first, yes.
Okay, because I do feel that you understand the idea of how tunes should be played for dancers, which is very different for tunes to be played in a band, or tunes to be played for marching, tunes to be played for military. There's so many different ways that some of these tunes appear, or the way that they're played. And I guess, funnily enough, we should have asked Anto while he was still here, but Anto and I have similar nostalgic memories of Celtic tunes, but they're played so differently that whatever he thinks is a hornpipe is totally different to what I think is a hornpipe.
Yeah.
So what is that like for you now? But you don't necessarily play for dancers, but you have that perspective.
Yeah. We don't play for people to step dance per se anymore, but we do play for people to dance. I think our music it might not be as coordinated as the steps that people do that are professionals with their feet, but just you know, any dancing, moving the body is kind of, we've tailored our music more to that side of things now. But I do know growing up, you know, we played for dances since we were so young. Square,
Really?
yeah, square dancing, especially. Tim and I actually had, and Jake has a very, very long history of playing for dances. Long.
Why hasn't Jake told us this? Jake, write in the comments. I can see that you're watching. Jake, where is this? Why didn't we know this?
Yeah, Jake is a, and you know what? Now that he's not in the video, I can brag up Jake.
Yeah,
Jake,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Jake is an absolutely amazing musician, and I cannot believe that we get to be in a band with him. He's, yeah, besides being an amazing musician, he's just one of the nicest people you would ever meet. But yeah, so all of us, we grew up with, Tim and I played at a Cayley every Sunday night out in Monticello. Shout out to Monticello PEI. And there was just a little tiny little hall in the middle of nowhere, right beside a one-room schoolhouse. And that's where we grew up. Yeah, we played for dances, square sets. Oh my God, how we probably played them for, I don't know, at least 10 years. And we
And
went.
how many people? Like, how many people are in the hall altogether?
That is a good question. Whenever I was small, it felt like 1,000 people, but I
Yeah.
think it was probably closer to 100, maybe.
But that's a
And
lot. That is a
yeah, it's a
lot.
lot. And then not everybody would dance necessarily, but yeah, it was just an amazing way to grow up. You know, you would dance like 5 sets in a row or something like this, and then you would have we would play for step dancers, and then there would be a break where you would have a lunch, and it would be tea and coffee and biscuits and scones and
Beautiful.
yeah, and it was just an amazing way to. I remember being tired on Monday mornings going to school because you would often play till, you know, 10:30, 11, 11:30, and when you're a kid, obviously that is, you know, that's pretty late, pretty late. But yeah, so we all kind of just grew up totally submersed in it, really, and so the dancing. Yeah, we don't necessarily play for step dancers anymore, but I think it's all so ingrained in our upbringing that you can go back there whenever, you know.
So, I mean, I've already confessed that I'm the East Pointers fangirl. I know that you're writing a tune book that's coming out, and in this book, will there be traditional tunes and East Pointers tunes? What's the story with that?
It's going to be actually all original East Pointers tunes in the tune.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is something that yeah, just something that we all had a passion for. We were all composers as well as players, and I think yeah, sometimes there's a certain way of thinking back home that's not necessarily encouraged to do. You know,
Yeah,
if it ain't broke,
I was going to ask
if it
about
ain't
that.
broke, don't fix it. But I think for us, you know, and for me personally, it's so good for my mental health. I think, you know, being creative and being able to write your own stuff and, you know, borrow things from the old tradition and bring it a new life. Yeah, that's something that the three of us, have been really passionate about for a really long time. And so when we started the band, that was going to be the mandate right from the get-go, is we're just going to play our own tunes. And so yeah, that'll be coming out pretty shortly, I think. Jake is, again, a master musician, and also he knows how to read music, because Tim and I don't know how to read music.
Yeah, that's handy. That's handy. Keep Jake.
So
that's good. That's very good with that.
Very handy. Always nice to have a fellow like that.
Yeah, we need a technical person. I think for me, I would find that quite overwhelming to have to reinvent a tune, especially when there are so many tunes and so many tunes that are very traditional and they're known and they're historical and they have so much history. There's a story to the tune. There's a reason why this tune's been written. I would think that's quite scary, personally. Uh, do you have you obviously have already written them and you continue to write them. But I think when you were first starting, did you think that you'd be able to make a tune that would be sufficient as an original composition compared to a traditional tune?
Yeah, that's a great question, first and foremost. I don't, you know what? I don't think we put that much pressure on
Yeah.
ourselves. And I
Okay,
think,
that's good.
you know what? I think the reason was because we've always been so collaborative.
Yes.
And I have enough faith in Tim and Jake's ability to tell a good tune from a not so good tune that, and I feel like that would hopefully be reciprocated them to me. I yeah, I feel like if they thought it was a good enough tune, then it's a good enough tune. So let's put it there. And to be honest, we've written lots of tunes that haven't made
Haven't
it
made
to
it.
yeah. Nobody's ever heard them. Nobody will ever hear them. But
I'd like to hear them. I'd like
yeah,
to hear them. I think,
you'll hear them.
actually on our tour last year in Canada, we had Tim join us.
Mhm.
And I think to hear the fiddle playing some of the tunes, it was very special for me. I think the nature of your playing and the instruments that you do play, they evoke really nostalgic memories for me, which is why it was so wonderful to have Tim join us and yourself and Jake when you joined us on the Wiggles tour as well. So I'd like to say thank you from all of us because it definitely gives us a lift when we're able to hear music from a totally different part of the world and brought into our Wiggly sphere. But I guess like the Wiggles, you were obviously about to embark on a tour. Weren't you meant to be touring in Australia? And then that
Yes,
kind of stopped during this coronavirus time?
yes, we were actually um, getting ready to head up to the Blue Mountains to play the Blue Mountain Music Festival,
That's
and we were
right.
supposed to play on the Friday night. And we got word the Friday morning that the festival had been canceled, and then it was just this domino effect. Everything, that 24 hours on that. I forget the exact date in March, but everything just totally changed. And within 24 hours, Jake was on his way back home to be with his family. Yeah. So we were supposed to be touring Australia up until a couple of weeks ago. So
I
yeah.
remember actually that particular day because we had shows and we had planned to come and see you at the festival. You're right. In 24 hours, everything changed. And I think it's been very interesting how different people have been reacting to the change and being at home. And something that the East Pointers have been doing is creating an online community by reading chapters of
Mhm.
Anne of Green Gables. And for everybody who doesn't know, Anne of Green Gables is written about the PEI,
You're correct. You're
about
correct.
Prince Edward Island. And I think for me, obviously, I've heard the story in the past and not really been that, I don't know that much about it. I'm not that associated with it. But now, having read chapter 2, I feel like I'm very up with it. So you've read all the chapters of Anne of Green Gables
Mhm.
online every
Yes.
day, live
Every
on your
day.
Facebook page. And now you've tipped into
Book 2, Anne of Avonlea.
book 2. And how many chapters has that been?
Yeah, I think we're going on to chapter 28, I believe. So right now, I think there's 64 chapters online. So 64, we basically been doing this for 64 days, and it's been so, it's honestly, I think, and you would obviously understand this, Emma, the reason why you start playing music is because there's something about that connection and being part of a community. And I know from playing a few Wiggle show, the energy that you get back is you can't you can't buy that feeling. It's an amazing thing, and I think for us, whenever um, our tours got canceled, being a band that tours 8 months of the year, uh, whenever everything got canceled, you panic a little bit, wondering when everything's going to go back to normal and you can do this again. But the idea to read Anne of Green Gables filled that void, as I feel like, as best as it possibly could, really. And right now we have, a pretty large, as part of the East Pointers Facebook page, we have an Andemic group in there that you can join. And, now I think there's close to 700 people in that group.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's just a bunch of, it's just a beautiful community. And I can't believe that, what would it be 10 weeks ago that never existed, and why would it ever exist for us? But I think it's, you panic, and then something creative comes, an idea, and you just kind of run with it. We came up with the idea, and 2 days later we were reading the first chapter. It was just kind of bang, bang, bang. And yeah, it's been really, really fun. And thank you so much for reading chapter 2. We needed that heavy hitter number 2, and you're just a total legend.
I needed your accent. I'm very sad that I couldn't really put the character together with the true accent, the very unique accent of PEI, or the PEI. But yes, I feel like, to summarize and to go out for today, we would love you to play some music, because we want to hear your music. But for everybody, if you would like to hear the East Pointers, obviously you can go straight to the East Pointers page, but have a look at the boys dancing with the Wiggles on the Wiggles YouTube page.
Do it.
What are you going to play?
I was just it's a bit of a security blanket sometimes. You just grab the banjo, you instantly, there's 100 years of history in this banjo. It's 100 years old, and it's seen me through many a time, and I can imagine the amount of players before that also felt very connected to this instrument.
True.
So sorry to cut you off there. I just was grabbing my security blanket here.
I think you should just play us out. I mean, honestly, all I was going to say is Yours to Break. East Pointers, amazing. Wintergreen, amazing. So many beautiful, beautiful pieces of music, original pieces, hilarious collaborations with the Wiggles. So thank you for inspiring us with your music and your funny step dancing. And please play anything that you like, because we like all of it. So please, anything. What are you going to play? I have too many favorites, so I can't choose, really.
I'll try a tune called Suspicion Confirmed that I wrote for my lovely wife, Chloe. And then I'll play a tune afterwards that Tim's dad wrote.
Amazing. Okay, this is lovely.
Charlotte Jake. So
great. I have to wake up Darley so that he can actually pay. He's actually been asleep here. He's been listening to you, but we're going to listen.
Has Dolly had a haircut lately?
He had a little one, but I think his hair looks more like yours than anything. I should have worn my hair out. We're the long hair twins. Okay, go for it, Koady.
All right, here we go.
Yes, nice, Koady.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and we dearly miss you guys, all of you, and we hope that you'll be able to tour back in Australia so we can visit you again, or we might be able to see you in Canada when things change. So
That would be
that would be,
very fun.
yeah, that would be lovely. Send our love to all of the guys, and we miss you, and thank you for sharing your music with us today.
No problem. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and the East Pointers and being such a total generous legend. We appreciate you very much.
Back legends, 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 East Pointers. Thank you so much, Koady. Hope to see you very soon. And thanks for wearing yellow. You look so beautiful. See you later. Bye, Koady.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.